Sorry. If you think my soft skills are where they need to be, why aren't they across the board? Why aren't these a priority? And that indicates to me a business despite itself module versus a business because we excel at customer service.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, my managers ignited that fire that I had in the men's warehouse.
Yeah.
And
that's great. I'm sure that they're happy about it.
And that was the one thing that I was very passionate about. I was like, I'm sorry, that's shit. Do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make excuses because you actually happen to have the relative statistical analysis to evaluate the issue as this is a positive.
You always can work to improve.
Yes, because that's the mentality behind Hawksoft, which is how do we excel? And there was this, and it's just stagnant base of that. So, congratulations, all of you who have come into me ranting.
Hey, it's good that you.
Tonight's rant is brought to you by.
Yeah.
Oscar Mayer meat seltzer.
Oh my god. It's disgusting, but yet I drink it.
Japanese whiskey. Tonight's title is We're Done.
Mm-hmm. Tonight's title is Hibiki Harmony.
So good. How we doing, men?
So far, so good myself.
I agreed to vet our cultural competency training. So I spent 4.5 hours reviewing diversity, equity, inclusion, and cultural competency training courses today.
Any of note?
All 3 of them were fantastic.
I would like I'm digging into a vegan fish taco.
I sharpened everything that needed to be sharpened today.
What
did you?
What is it? Is it jackfruit? What is the vegan fish?
It's tofu.
It's just tofu. Okay.
Yeah, the way that they're battering it is, in other words, they're using Old Bay seasoning.
But what's their batter? Because that might undermine the vegan healthy part.
No, the batter it's all plant based.
Nice.
So it's just simple flour. From what I can tell, it's just a simple flour slurry. And,
flax. You could do a nice flax egg.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, but it's very nice. It's quaint. Because D is just sitting there like, where the fuck did my gaming session go?
It's only 8:04.
Right? Hey, let's be all amazed that I'm actually here, because I'm happy about that.
Yeah, it didn't sound like you were too expectant to have that be the case.
No, which is why I drank so much. So.
Oh, it's gonna make for a fun night tonight.
Oh yeah,
the general has already started drinking.
As the cult basically screams at the Avro Thrall, going, "Why'd you fucking steal my catalytic goddamn converter?" He's got some shit to process. Anyway.
Good old-fashioned apocalypse.
You can always just drive without it. It just makes the car really loud.
By the way, can anyone basically tell me that the year in which Johnny Mnemonic, which actually set?
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
Educate.
I don't remember. I haven't watched that movie in forever.
In the year 2021.
By the way, with a plague.
Yeah. And
Enjoy that.
And
And iced.
I honestly, the thing I remember the most is that whole rant about I want room service. Like, that's the best rant in the whole fucking thing.
I just watched that. When did I watch that? Like a month or two ago.
Yeah.
When I was like, holy shit, 2021
Yeah.
with a plague.
The relevance was just a little too good.
It's like we look back at historical. I don't mean to say the word historical fiction, but older science fiction that's, looking at our current time, and like half of it is like way off, right? It's like there'll be free healthcare, free education, everybody will be like, flying cars, like all that, and then the other half is like corporations will run everything. There'll be a worldwide plague. Computers will be, infinitesimally small, like all that stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's the way we went. The sky has been blacked out, so a disk has been created miles above the rest of the world, upon which the elites live. Like, oh, let's give it some time.
Ooh, Elysium is coming.
God.
Yeah. Into the year 2074, it's Shadows time. Wait, 2047. Where are we?
2074.
2074.
2074. So we know how this story is going to turn out. There'll be a plague. There's going to be corporate wars for a while. Donald Trump will be president again. And somewhere out there, Barrick is born.
Barrick is born in 2010. So right now there's an 11-year-old Barrick running around.
Excuse me, screaming child.
Ooh.
Let's see the stagger. How
Happy
much
birthday.
stagger does he have? There's a little stagger.
Well,
Dagger and
I'm glad that
but he's flexing pretty
he
okay.
celebrates his daughter's birthday by playing with us. That's a true dad.
Daddy!
How's everybody else's week been besides mine?
My week's been great. I still don't have a
shit.
boss, so it's just like, do whatever.
Yeah.
You are your own boss.
My boss starts on Monday, so it's been fun.
Look, we had a break in the week. I didn't have to go to work today. It was great.
Yeah, I forgot
That's why you
that
sound so relaxed.
kids wouldn't be at work or at school today, so I'm like getting ready, like making them breakfast. I start making lunch, and I'm like, oh wait, and then Poppy and her friend come downstairs. And I'm like, oh right, you had a sleepover last night because you didn't have school today.
It's all coming together.
Yeah.
My mom took my boys for the evening, but I got the booster shot. And man, it's kicked my ass today. I feel like just sore as all hell.
Man.
My blanket makes me too sweaty.
That's what she was freaking out about?
That is what my son was freaking out about.
Oh, son.
My blanket makes me too sweaty. Damn
Uh,
right. I don't.
Sweatier than yours? Who knows?
And
Abby
I did not.
sleeps against the wall because the wall is cool, so she can pile blankets all over herself, and then she lays against the wall because the wall is cool.
And I did not
Amazing.
say to my son, "You're fucking with my taco time."
Don't say that.
Anyway, I say that to you because it makes me feel better. But to my son, I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. Hey, let me get rid of that extra blanket. Is that better?" You
Was it
know
better?
what? You know what? I love you. And the fact that you love the cold makes me so happy.
Little Wim Hof there.
I
Well,
love those Portland winters.
Winter.
Winter. Winter.
All right, so the Balrog is ready for us to fight. We spent all of our kabooms, and the health bar turned from blue to red.
Yeah.
Oh,
More
shit,
specifically, the GIF of, Gandalf. That like made my fucking day, man.
I
He's in
I
the
watched
final
it
form.
and I was like, I don't get what's going on because I kept like turning to other things. My wife
Oh,
kept
you
talking
missed
and
that
finally
little
I
like
caught it.
half second.
What's happening? It's all just normal to me.
I've had that saved forever. And I was like, one of these days, Ivar is gonna try and be the big badass, but he's, walking around in a bathrobe in his chonies.
And you found your moment. Well done, sir.
I mean, I did drop ICBMs on everybody.
Yeah, he did.
So the funny thing is, because of how fast they were traveling, I can easily excuse the fact that they had to bypass your 200-foot range, and then
Just that momentum, right?
right. Well, there's that, but I mean, like they were obviously going to decompress in terms of their yield, but they couldn't do it fast enough, which is why you guys were able to execute such a maneuver.
Plus, I believe that Drew rolled like 7 successes or something like that.
Yeah,
like
it was a
10,
massive
10,
crit.
10.
It was a massive crit, massive, just
What did we
fucking
say? 1,
insane.
2, 3, 4 10s.
Yeah, it was something ridiculous. Since it's out of the 200-foot range, but at that fucking die roll, who gives a shit? It's happening.
Ivar has been stretching that bounds, and I've been saving up all his IP to just keep building that up, with the goal of every
dilating?
time he's working out that muscle, and it's just
So when we put in the CRB, let us hit a die range where it just basically has where it says quote unquote, you hit this mark, who gives a shit? DM says
it's gonna happen.
It's
fuck
happening.
it happens.
I'd even add it happens gloriously.
Got so much going.
All right, and I think it was Ken's turn.
It is. Riv is up next in the order, but let's go ahead and push it over into the appropriate measure.
Just quick questions on sort of logistics, because every week I start a new page. Are we down any troops? I know that we wiped out the Averthal's sort of Bond army, but where are we with our troops?
Nice one, Bill. So, read back to me the troops you have listed.
I had 200 bots
Right.
total with 175 troops, 50 heavy artillery, and 100 orc berserkers.
So, there haven't been any fatalities of the orc berserkers themselves. The bots, on the other hand, there's been about 23 that have been basically knocked down. Because the fight didn't last terribly long, but the bots definitely took the biggest part of the hits.
Okay.
They're keeping the robotic combatants at the foreground so that the living ones don't have to pay out.
Seems legit.
And are we still at the back of the fray, or did we in any point...
No, your position right now, you were pushing out into the enemy line past where the firing line had started, right?
Spearhead.
Riv was down there. Riv was...
Oh yeah, I was in the thick of it.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
was in the thick of a big mesh of them. Yeah,
Lost this.
yeah, she'd gone off to about your 10 o'clock, heading forward and out, and everybody
double
was
diamond
roughly
card.
yeah. You guys had basically moved about 100, roughly about 100 and 150 feet, and clashed with their front line, pushing forward and forward and forward because he was just flooding enemies in your direction. The and like I said, and Riv is, like I said, she's a little further ahead of the group in a sense, but covered in the enemy at this point. However, that's, you guys managed to drop those rockets right before we ended the last session. So
yeah, we dropped between 1,500 to 2K damage.
yes.
And if I recall, we targeted where we were guessing Abrathal was actually standing.
You were getting hints from Void about where to make your strike.
Yeah.
So what am I? What's Riv facing right now?
Well, that's what we're getting to, is that we're going to be talking about everybody here in just a moment.
Oh, okay.
Because like those rockets were heavily disruptive.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, we never quite got the aftermath of that. We just got...
You guys
The
felt...
boom.
Yeah,
we all
you
have a
guys,
green glow now.
I think Ivar got knocked down again.
yeah, he was pushed back, so you've got Ivar sort of standing at the back line because he can't be exposed to enemy troops because it makes him too much of a risk. You guys were sort of like funneling your way in, using a partial wedge because it wasn't perfect. You've got Riv, who kind of went rogue to your left and forward, and you guys were just slowly pressing forward. When those rockets struck, it made everybody try to like hold their shit together. Now, even at the fact that you guys were pretty close to the safe zone, everybody got blasted to the side one way or another. Not everybody lost their footing, and Averthral wound up more or less disintegrating for the most part, because the impact definitely had an effect. That effect being that the mass number of clones actually partially vaporizes, and you can see the entity that is sort of writhing and coiling on both sides, having himself split, and at the right flank of the entire unit that you guys are in, and then the one you have straight ahead. So you've more or less, if you were to count where you guys are pointed, you still have two major targets. And right now, Void is not supplementing any kind of new action to attack at this point. There's still kind of this recovery, because after that explosion, what's happening is, like, if you were to look at it from top down, this massive burst, a smoking crater, and then a bunch of troops that just went flat all around in a circular formation that weren't directly within the kill zone. Then afterwards, they start to kind of dematerialize. You guys start scrambling up from where you're at. The firing line behind where you guys were advancing from has ceased fire for the moment, and there's just kind of this weird, almost awkward moment where Averthral is trying to get his bearings again. So as far as that goes, like, and with Riv, you're basically just kind of pushing up, because most of the people, or most of the enemy that you've been sort of fighting at this point, like I said, they sort of dematerialize. So you're standing apart from them, and you're pushing yourself back up to a full... I love that movie.
That's stressful.
Freaking Hot Shots.
Okay.
But yeah, so we're all kind of taking that one breath. So, Riv,
Boom.
everybody sort of stock still. The clone creation has ceased for the moment. You're getting an assessment of the area in and around yourself, and you can start pushing forward into the enemy again, because they are not all entirely gone, but they probably will start to mass once again here in short order.
Sorry for my hot sauce consumption.
It's all good.
We're not in the same room. You're forgiven.
Wait, what are you drinking?
Diablo.
Diabla.
It was the Diablo
Diablo
salsa.
drink.
It was the Diablo salsa that came with my tacos.
Oh, nice.
I had like an extra one. It's like,
That's what's for.
So is there any impediments to me in the Averthral at this point?
Right now, you just have a certain amount of space to clear before you can engage the enemy in melee. That's the only impediment that you know of. You've got that. Like, so everybody's trying to get their bearings back together again. That explosion was massive.
Wait, D6 again?
Yeah. But this time I go intangible for a little bit.
Ripple hard.
Yeah. Like,
You become a literal marble and just start crashing around like a pinball. Ivor creates
This
gigantic
point, the
pinball
power is
levers
useful,
and just
but,
start bouncing you around.
But I'm going to
Side
start. Go ahead.
Side note, we went to a pinball machine place.
Where? When? You talking about when we went to the?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Because when I'm thinking pinball machine place, I'm thinking about the place we're going to be going to next month.
Okay.
Level Up,
Anyway,
where it's an actual museum.
Mm.
But
Side
that was
note.
really cool, fun. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to start running towards Admiral Thrall, or amalgamation of him. I'm intangible, so I'm just going to, as I'm running, I'm going to fire off actually 6 magic bolts.
Nice. I do believe you have the damage recorded. They should be pretty tough.
It's 64 damage.
That's pretty tough.
Nice.
Yeah. It actually, since I have melee master, I can do 2 of those attacks.
Right, so you're launching 2 volleys of 6.
Yeah. So in this case, I'm just double fisting them.
Yep. Nice.
As I'm running forward. Let's see here. So I need to roll will plus rank in melee. My rank in melee is 25. And my rank it's a focus skill, so pick that for your rolls. My will is 8. So.
Because they're 2 bursts, you can just roll 2 of the melee attacks, and that will count for all 6.
Oh, I was just. Okay,
Yeah.
then I'll do it a different way. Yeah. Okay, I'll just. It adds it up. That's not what we want.
Yeah, you should just be able to do that twice over and give it a good idea of how your targets are slain. That's good.
2. Oops. 4, 8, 10, plus 16. Alright, that was my first volley. And then this is. Oh, okay.
Ooh.
This is my second volley. Okay. That was with an exploder, though.
Right, I get it.
I'm gonna bump that up to a 2.
Okay,
So,
boost.
7.
So that's an 18 then.
Yeah. There we go. So that's my 6 shots.
Alright. Well, I mean, in typical fashion, you were a crazy, weird, mystical archaeologist, not necessarily a soldier, so you barrel forward into the enemy forces, letting loose a number of magical attacks. All of these bolts come hissing from out of the palms of your hands and into the enemy targets. Some of them juke and dodge out of the way, but because there are so many, impact is unlikely to miss entirely. So you end up inflicting a modicum of damage, seeing several of the clones going down entirely with limbs missing or various parts of the body scorched from the impact of these missiles you're lobbing at them. Now, with your intangibility, are you planning on just trying to like move somewhere for a vantage point since you like
I'm just
kinda
heading
stay
in a
out of
straight
it?
line right now. No.
Okay.
I'm planning on replacing that power as soon as possible.
Okay.
She got it and is like, and then just was running forward.
Well, what's
I
interesting
need
is
to
that
roll-
because you are running into their midst, you'll actually cause them to kind of like turn inward and be distracted. So they think that they can try and attack you, and they do ravenously attempt it. But the thing is that you cannot be touched by them, so they're just kind of coiling inward and trying to strike air. They don't realize that they can't do you any kind of physical harm.
Alright, well, I just recharged all of my mana I just used, so that's nice.
Gotta love that, man. Those bolts are pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's AP Mundane, it stuns, it recharges 1d 4 mana on hits, but it only costs 1 mana to cast it, so
Right.
if I hit, I basically get it back for free,
Yep.
and then some.
That is good. All right, so I've got to pull this back over. So you guys hear Riv bell out and then start just lobbing her magical bolts into the enemy forces and rushing right into them, to which she ends up being swallowed by their front line and kind of disappearing and sort of submerging into their whole allotment like some kind of wave, rock on the shore. She just kind of vanishes inside of all of that. Colt, your ears are ringing. You're shaking your head a little bit. You're not damaged by any means, but the sheer concussive force of that explosion was enough to reorganize your internal organs a little bit. You're up, man. And you've got Aberthrol trying to recover and recuperate, and it looks like he is starting to, you're sure that in the next few moments he'll start reproducing all of his clones once again, but they're sort of stuck and stagnated.
So the Colt just kind of like cocks his head to the side going, Bastard's like, Patton's like, why ain't that fucking impressive? And then and then it's the Colt just kind of goes, Bastard, where there's candy.
Where's candy?
As all of a sudden the Bastard looks back and was like, are you fucking serious? Fine, fucking where there's candy. And all of a sudden, like, the child appears.
Hmm.
He goes, and all of a sudden the Bastard leans down and goes, he took your candies.
Not so ominous.
And we're gonna use 2 melee actions.
Okay.
So that is 8 SFR.
Right.
Okay. And then John is going to pull an Ivar.
You never pull an Ivar.
So
never go full Ivar.
Never go full. So you've got 8 SFR into Balefire.
Okay.
Oh shit.
John is going to go, he stole your candies. The child, the buddy is going to freak the fuck out and go into like 2 melee actions, which is the 8. Freak out is a gigantic Hadouken blast. And then the Colt is going to wrap around his magic. 6 SFR.
Okay.
Nice.
So we're going to use 10 SFR total.
How much? What's your rate of use?
I got 45. I'm at 32, so we're using 8 plus.
Right. What's your rate of
6,
use? Like how many
12.
SFR can you push in and around? Okay.
12.
All right.
So we're going to use 12 total.
All right. Just making sure we're on top of it.
Yep.
No,
You're right. Thank you for correcting me. So he's going to use forces and prime to enhance the blast.
All right. So you're just pumping more damage into it, basically.
Yeah. How do I want to roll that?
So first of all, the child originally he screamed. Is it just a sonic blast that's coming out of him, or is it actually coming out as the balefire?
It's coming out as it's a sonic blast that comes out as balefire.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's
What's the rank?
balefire.
What's the rank in that particular ability that he's using?
4, which is why he's using 2 melee rounds.
Mm-hmm.
So
Because he's blasting twice, or just like holding over and doing one big one.
holding over and doing one big one.
All
So he has rank 4.
Oh my god.
He has rank 4, so he's using 2 melee actions to do his 1. Right?
Right.
1 roll or 2.
Well, you're gonna do first roll your enhancement, so you're gonna be rolling your magical ability to enhance it. See what that
Okay.
gives you, because the other ability is kind of fixed.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so 8. So you can only do 4d10. Target.
In this case, you're going to be looking at a 7. You're enhancing, not doing much of anything else. Not bad. Could be better.
We will basically use.
You can boost that 1 and you'll get the 2 successes instead of 1.
Yep. So we're down to 4 luck.
Alright. So in this case, 2 successes plus the rest of it, which is 8 total. That means 10. That means you're dealing like... And your will again is 10, so that's 10, 10. Wow. Does it have a descriptor in terms of damage, like for each level of that particular Balefire ability?
Not really, unfortunately.
Okay.
Because, let's see, mechanics, Balefire is damage is power rank times 10 plus will.
Okay, that's what I thought. So that means that
And
you're dealing 50, 100, and then, yeah, you're doing like 100 damage with that one singular blast.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, the boy appears near towards the front of your wedge formation. Dravis is going to be kind of taken aback a little bit as this child appears in the battlefield out of nowhere, because he's never seen that executed before. You can see him drop his guard just hesitantly, and then John leaning over and whispering into his ear. You know, he can't quite hear it, but the kid, you get like the one tear out the eye, and then the red-faced fury, and then right after that, this bellowing scream, which causes this concentration of nasty green fire to emerge out in front and then blast out forward. Instead of feeling heat from the flame, it actually causes a layer of frost on the ground, on the boy's shoes, on the side of Dravis's armor, and then it goes out with this massive blast. You can almost feel like a backblast coming from it because there's this pop as the atmosphere kind of tries to correct itself. It lumbers forward, slamming into enemy lines, and there's like shrieking howls that come from out of that. They are immediately snared into flames, the green fire spreading like napalm in and amongst the group of them, and they're all slamming and patting and trying to get rid of this stuff. And you can see like open gaping mouths as they churn and become malformed and trying to stave off the pain, but it doesn't seem to work. They become either frostbitten and melted from the fire itself, or causing sort of rampant confusion as they begin to break and burst in totally disorganized groups, trying to run the fire off of their own back.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, a good portion of them died in a sizable chunk right there. And again, wherever that fire touches, even if it hits the ground, instead of scorching it, it causes a sort of strange kind of frost or a blackening scorch mark, but of the opposite range of temperature. It's an unearthly, unnatural type of flame. Nice.
Green flame.
Is that the
Flame
end of your
on!
turn there, Bill? Did you just rack and stack one major attack that way?
Yep.
Good man. All right, Barrick. You basically check you get out of the shockwave of the explosion, and your first and most immediate function is to PCI check your weapons, make sure that you don't have damage or anything else going on. Your pulse rifle's in good condition and the rest of it. And after that blistering blast of balefire, you've got two disparate groups in front of you at this point. One trying to attack Riv, who seems to be in the mesh of them. The other being assaulted by some kind of sickly green flame, and the temperature in the immediate area around you has kind of dropped about 5 or 6 degrees just from that blast alone. But you've got a large group of these enemies here that could either come this way from your left or from nearly your straight forward or from the right hand side.
Well, I definitely don't want to fire toward Riv.
Right.
Although Riv is intangible.
However, you're not entirely sure that's the case because she ran in there and she was
That's true.
I
And
want to
wouldn't
see you
risk it.
fire. I want to see you fire, and the shots go all past Riv in one of those cool sequences where it's like she's there doing her things, and like she
And,
swings
there's
and
a
bullets
punch
are
and it
coming.
comes flying through, and then
Yeah, like wherever she's at, wherever there's holes, the bullets are going through, hitting targets as she's wailing.
Right. He's showing off his expert marksmanship.
Yeah, I almost see like Watchmen,
Mm-hmm.
like a sequence like that, or like 300 sequence.
Yeah.
Just saying.
In fact, what I'm going to do, the other group that is engulfed in green flame, are they kind of together?
They're spreading out as the fire is starting to collect because they are being hit with the flames. They're not organized anymore. If they had any kind of interconnectivity between themselves to coordinate their attacks, that part's been lost. They've been disorganized.
So I want to grab the blunderbuster. So I'm gonna reach to the duffel bag next to me,
Yay!
rifle down, blunderbuster up.
All right. Since he's never had a chance to do that, are you rocking the 2 rockets in back?
I'm gonna do 2 rockets.
All right. So he ends up basically slinging the pulse rifle, brings up this 4.5 foot long shotgun, and he just goes like this. He hits the button here, slides the handle forward, gives it a good spin so it rotates the other way. You've got the over under barrel like sitting like this across with the padded slide, sits right here on the shoulder, and you have your handle still the same way. When he slides it over and it locks into place, you see the 2 heads of the 2.75 rockets poking out the back.
Yep. And I'm gonna fire
yep.
not at Riv, at the other group.
All right, man. Once, twice.
Okay, so I've never done this one before. So it is rifle.
Mm-hmm. And you can still your. This is the sick part. You can still use your rifle rank instead of using like heavy because it's the rifle as the weapon. So
Right.
you kind of get to escape with that little cheese.
All right. So plus. All right, the first one and the second one.
Oh goddamn, dude!
Damn, dude.
Love that gun kata shit. You you assess the current situation, addressing where their weakest points would be inside their lackluster formation since they're kind of scattering.
Right.
You crack this thing into position, hold it straight up. There's a little notch that's just right there within your line of sight to give you just enough of a guiding post. And you pull the trigger once, you get that sweet little pop as it goes like that, and it pops off like a soft launch. And then you see the rocket engage. It flies so quick. You just see that trail of smoke. When it makes impact, there is like a 10-foot explosion that causes all of that, including the balefire, to just erupt from out of the center of their lines.
That's what I was hoping.
Yep.
Spread it.
The second firing goes straight through just a little bit to the right where they've kind of clumped together, and you can see that same thing, another trail of smoke and another massive explosion from the inside. These rockets are devastating to these up-close units, and they are safe enough to be fired because that soft launch pushes it out about 5 feet, and based on what you would understand of the weapon, the rockets themselves don't necessarily have any kind of arm until they are past a safe point. So,
Right. And what you told me says that the rockets do 95 damage each.
yes, and there's no way that they can avoid that damage, so you see body parts along with those explosions going up before they become sort of gooified ichor, dematerializing in the process of all that.
Great.
That's what I like to hear.
So that was one attack.
Yep.
So down, and then rifle back up,
Yep.
and then I'm just gonna start picking off summoners.
All right.
So I'll do another burst of 30, kind of in like. Not
Are
the
you
full
using your
spray
plasma
and pray.
rifle?
Yeah.
Nice.
Of course, whenever the rockets go off and you start to lay out the enemy, you've got Dravis up front going like, "Woo!" like that. Just.
All right, a 36.
I'm sorry, Travis' reaction is my favorite part.
Yeah, HMA Rick Travis.
Rick Dravis.
Oh my god. All right, so you start pan firing across, doing, basically just pulling that out there. You're clipping the last remaining dregs of these inflamed enemy units and putting them down with prejudice. Because even without the extra expanded damage coming from other individuals who would normally allow you to pass it right through, these things are devastating. The plasma bolts themselves go ripping through their flesh like they weren't even there. You can see the caustic smoke coming from every impact, and then just a whole line back, forward, and some behind even the initial lines of contact just drop to the ground, silencing a lot of their screams and toil.
Most excellent.
I learned a horrible song yesterday that includes the line, "Napalm sticks to kids."
Nice.
It's a U.S. Army military cadence.
Yep. It sounds like it, man.
Oh my god.
I am sorry for what I'm about to post.
Oh no, man.
I tried to look up Super Brawl.
Oh.
no.
Super Brawl.
Oh, super bra.
Let's see what this is. Oh, very good.
I tried to look up Super Brawl, but nothing came up.
There you go.
So
I mean,
This,
nothing wrong with
this is
that.
not nothing. This is something.
Okay.
Everyone's like, uh-huh. I can appreciate that.
Yep, me too. All right, moving on. I gotta stay focused. That shit's just unfair.
I will break you.
you very well could. I'm glad that only showed up as a link.
Right?
What kind of a stream am I pushing here?
Not one of those hot tub streams, is
Let's
it?
say hot tub.
Oh God. Anyway, back to the fight, you yokels. So
Yeah, so rocket, plasma.
Yep. I mean, we're laying waste to them ad nauseum. Whatever's happening, Averthrall's not able to recover very well. Shortly after this barrage, you have Dravis reporting back, saying, basically just shout him out. It's like, light these assholes up! Like, that's all he says, and the firing line re-engages at this point, and he starts moving the group forward, since you guys have now created this gap with all of the destructive power that you just pushed out.
And then there is Ivar.
Yes.
I see Ivar, he's been knocked down a few times, kind of like crawling his way up behind that hill, because I don't think he's in the... he's not in the wedge. He's like behind, and he's like peeking up over everything. And he's trying to get a feel. Is that napalm fire still burning?
Oh, the balefire? Yeah.
Yeah, it's still burning.
Yeah.
Is it within his 200-foot radius?
He'd have to push up with the rest of the group, because you were kind of behind. If you push up to the rest of the group, they would be in there. You could easily do it, even with how slow you are.
I'm almost wondering here if Ivar should stoke the fire, or if he should.
He's
He
Ivar.
kind of reaches out. It's like, yeah, I know. He reaches out. He's like, General, would you like the
Stroke
fire
the fire.
stoked, or do you want more missiles?
Soon! Plow the fucking road!
Ivar wants to take the atoms and
Wow.
and
Oh, deep.
in the fire and he wants to start speeding them up and rolling them with the momentum of as he spins them and increases the heat and the intensity, that he rolls them forward and just sends that fire as far as it can go and get it as big as it can get, and just try and mow down the enemy forces with it. With the general intention of that as it rolls, he's trying to almost like a bowling ball. No.
Are you talking about basically an outward going explosive wave that goes from a central point of it just pushing out?
It almost pushes out,
right,
but arcs back towards Aberthal. So it's like he's trying to make Aberthal the if Aberthal's the pin and his men are on the lane, he's trying to knock them all down with fire.
Right. So what you'll do is you'll create a half dome going out, more or less. You'll create this curved wall of flame that explodes outward, just trying to knock down as many enemies as possible. That makes sense to me.
I like it.
All right, that's a DC 8, my friend. Throw it out.
I don't like the licking balls. I don't like that at all.
Jesus.
Hey,
Oh god, I gotta see if I can get it for you. My buddy sent me a video of all these
you don't
funny
fuck
ass
with the
British
Jesus. Don't fuck with the Jesus.
Did Jesus got his own movie?
Did he?
Target 8.
Yeah, Target 8.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, God.
God damn it.
Why do you gotta do fellatio on your dice before every game?
All right.
I want these big, gigantic D10s just appear on the field, lit up, and then just start rolling.
Here's how I see it: is you just see Ivar, and he's kind of radioed to the general, and he just stares, and you don't see anything. You just see his eyes. But in his eyes, if anyone saw it, you see the flames building. He's just doing this by staring at it. He's looking into the fire, and he's like any man who's lost in the flames. He wants them bigger.
Yeah, in this case, you'll have to have come out of the crenellation because, like I said, the fire was just outside, so you're gonna push it to give yourself as much range within that field as possible. So you'll push up to the group, but that whole time you're doing build up, build up, build up, build up, build up. You'll hear over comms with Violet. She'll be like, Units 2 and 4, please guard the little man. Don't let him get knocked down while he's out there doing his work. And you've got bots that come up from out of there, and they start to flank either side where Ivar's standing, watching the main groups as he's moving forward. That's so fucked up. What the hell? Alright. So, yeah, again, crit. So, you push this out. What everybody else sees in front, because Ivar moving from the back, is that nobody's going to be paying much attention. They're going to be focused on the front end. There's kind of like this pulse wave that kind of hits everything, and then it just kind of dies off. There is this single point where the fire has not yet gone out. It's still more or less eating the material of one of the corpses of these things before it's dematerializing and becomes sort of stirred up. What happens next is you can see it push inward, kind of like what happens whenever you slap water and you see it in slow motion, how the wave pitches up and then it spreads out. It basically does that exact motion, but you watch it happen from here. It intensifies, sprays upward, and then pushes outward simultaneously in this massive crescent wave, and it just slams into multiple targets on the way out.
Nice.
Yeah, given the fact that it was 100 damage plus crit and the rest of it, I mean, you're looking at like 180 damage expanded across with the raw material of the balefire on top of it.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nope. You guys are deep diving for these fucking things.
Spelunking even.
Mm-hmm. Alright. So, at this point, we have Averthral, who's now sort of coming back out of it. You can hear this rumbling inside of, like, everything else. Void comes over comms. He's struggling against me. We're going to have to move quickly. We've wounded him, but he's not close enough. If he's pushed for much longer, he might be able to overwhelm what I'm doing. I'm trying to make it difficult for him to escape, and I'm trying to make sure that he cannot stop. We will have to either get him now or forget it. And whenever that happens, you can see the enormous spawning of all of these clones come flooding back out again after that minor lull in the enemy fighting. There's this sudden pushback as they swarm towards everyone, and it becomes a noise that is absolutely ear-piercing as they're all shrieking and mounding on each other. Instead of being the normal 5 to 6.5 foot tall human size, they start blending, merging, and becoming these 10-foot tall pseudo-colossi that start coming towards the group, trying to impress upon themselves something that was more resilient and a lot more lethal. And you can feel the entire fury of Aberthrol trying to push its way outward to eat or devour this group. As it seems you have got his attention, and you just hear across all of the mouths as the armies are starting to merge together. It's just, "I remember you," going across.
Oh, good.
And now he is aggravated and focused on this group entirely.
Hey, you know what? That's kind of what we were hoping to do.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Jolly green.
Alright, let's see what y'all got. We're gonna go at it.
You rolling some dice?
Yep. Alright, so Riv, it's not really gonna matter from where you're at because these entities try to smash and grab. You're just moving through them, and you're just feeling the essence of this creature that's so wrong, passing right through your person as he's trying to do some kind of customary damage, but unfortunately it is unable to afflict you on any kind of physical level. However, I'll need to have you make a will save because, as it turns out, it can still affect your mind.
Makes sense.
Oh, you already have an outsider hanging out in there. Mine.
Well, no, he's helping us otherwise. It's occupado. Let's see here. I roll 1d10 per will, right?
Yes.
Is there a target?
Yes, 10.
Of course there is.
Explode 10. Fail 1.
I'm going to use
What's Rib's
Sure.
will?
My will's 8 right
8?
now. Thankfully, Excel rounds up for me.
Oh my god.
I'm spending 2 luck to make 2 successes.
Well, this is just against Riv right now, Bill, because she was in the
Oh.
midst of this. So, if he comes after you, I'll remember that, psychically
Okay.
speaking.
To connect brain to brain.
Wow. All right.
While this is going on and we can see Riv down, Ivar kind of gets on comms. I have a feeling we need to blow this mother very quickly. I don't know if anyone has any ideas, but Ivar is willing to assist.
You're not going to believe what I just rolled. I know I've been sitting here rearranging it, but just to make it slightly smaller. But I can't believe what the F just happened when it comes down to this. Oh my freaking god. I just had to arrange it to where the camera could capture it all. But this is the result that Averthrol just had with 10 dice to his freaking name once the little bastard loads. God.
Your image is always massive, though.
Yeah, that's part of the problem. I keep forgetting that. I hate
It's
to
like
layer
8
it down.
megabytes or 10 megabytes.
Yeah, it's 8
of
megs.
Yeah. It's so gross.
Oh, it's funny.
There we go.
I saw some ones.
There's
Wow.
not a single 8 in that die roll. Not
Oh.
one.
Yeah. 2, 3, 6, 5, 2, 7.
Nope. And there's a 1 that
Wow.
would have negated it.
Well, it would technically be a botch, but Averthral's using luck to boost it, so it just comes out as neutral. Instead of like being successful, it's completely neutral, and it's like he rolled and got 0.
Zilch.
So, wow, Ken, you got
I-
0 too?
Yeah, I didn't get any more successes.
So that's just complete fizzle is all that is. You just feel him try to get into your mind and you're just kind of like, huh?
You both are like, "Ew, no
Yeah.
thanks, I'm out."
Yep.
You know what we could say is that Void was like, no.
Well, he's busy
My body.
holding Averthral, so what he's doing is, you don't know exactly what Void is up to, but somehow or another he is highly pressured and making this fight feasible for everybody involved. All right.
I appreciate that.
And the demon that possesses your body asks, "What's wrong?"
All right. Dravis up front.
Trying to be like match the music.
Yeah, same.
Jeez. One of these things comes like so. Dravis is heading point on this whole thing, and Averthral sends some of his larger troops to go in there and push him into the dirt or into the stone. Not only does he not manage to succeed at such a thing, but Dravis gets into fist fights with these enormous creatures, even though he's only about like 6'1". They're like 4 feet taller than he is, and he gets into a fisticuffs battle with 3 of them at once. One comes really close, he ends up doing a parry, and then like basically a parry throw, and then a second, a third. He ends up tripping one over the other and crashing it into like the third one that tries to get there, keeping the front line clear and still pushing forward to where you guys had seen the last known mark. And I mean, he's ridiculously fast whenever it comes down to it, and apparently his strength is enough that he can contend with whatever they throw out. All right. You've got 2 approaching your position, Barrick.
All right.
Looks like they're coming in for a smash and grab, and I need 2 rolls. You'll need to make whatever like parry dodge that you think is appropriate as they are coming in fisticuffs, but you also need to make me a will save, or a will check rather.
Barrick, can you call a dodge a bullet in the face and a parry a bullet in the face?
No. Let me see.
How about a bullet in the throat?
No, but I have trained in 2 martial arts. And one of them is commando.
Yep, and mind you, the reason why you guys are actually only dealing with a few in this particular way, despite the surge, is that firing line has picked back up again, and so you're seeing a good deal of their front lines being cut down over and over and over again, and those that actually manage to push through get too close to where they can't be handled, and you'll guys will have to defend yourselves for the ones that straggle on.
Okay, so if am I rolling, can I roll my commando, which is my
Yes.
hand-to-hand?
Yep, you have the strength for it too. You got one
I
that's coming in
do-
for an overhanded sort of like a guerrilla strike, and another one's coming out and around doing some kind of like either a scoop or a claw sort of sweep with its hand. So
So do I do the
If you're
martial
gonna-
arts total
if you're-
or the rank?
in this case, if you're gonna do like any kind of parry maneuver, then you're gonna just use your full commando roll and use that as what you're gonna
Okay.
parry with.
Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do. So the first
Jeez.
They
one-
made a
Jesus
sequel to MacGruber.
and the second one's a botch. I'll spend a luck to
Boost it.
make that. Yeah. Just
Okay.
that one luck.
All right. So you sidestep the one.
Oh, and a will check.
Yep, you'll need to make a will check. You sidestep the one and send it into the stonework with this nasty crack. The other one that comes in for that swipe, you end up just basically kicking its legs out and moving it off to the side so it's like immobilized.
What is my target for will check?
It's going to be a 10, just like it was for Riv.
Okay, 8, 10.
What's your will?
My will is 8.
Okay.
Willy Wonka.
And I have Iron Will.
Yes, so you have 3 successes, which is great. You actually, again, you feel the seeping attempt on your own mind, and you shove it aside pretty much as violently as the other 2 attackers were.
My Norton antivirus kicks in.
Ivar, you're out of the way, but you still need to actually make a will check.
A will check?
Yep. Because he's attacking your mind.
Let him in. I'm not trapped in.
Do I have a?
you.
Is there a target, or am I just
10.
roll? Oh, I'm rolling the 1d100, right?
No, not sanity. Just do like your regular will.
Yep.
Oh,
So you're rolling 10d10, exploding 10.
oh, exploding 10.
Yeah, it's exploding 10, fail 1.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. But no is there a target?
Yeah, 10.
10.
Oh, shit.
10D, 10E,
Yeah.
10 E10, F1.
Let's see what we got here. God damn. Alright, so...
I love that dice maiden.
He's very useful.
Yes.
You remember her before dice
Oh,
maiden?
I'm sorry. I rolled in the wrong place. Ivar has 1 degree of success.
Yes.
I was knee deep in looking at MacGruber gifts, so I got distracted.
So, Ivar, you feel that presence there, and then suddenly you're standing alongside some other amorphous, unknown entity that's there with your consciousness simultaneously. And you can feel the same sensibility that you had the last time this actually happened to you. Because the battle itself goes quiet, everything else like winds up becoming this sort of like dim thought or remembrance. You have the girl who's still kind of going around that merry-go-round. She's just singing to herself, that kind of thing. And you have this, like I said, this other presence now that's in your mind. You were unable to stop it from slipping through the crack. And you can feel not anger, not fury, not really anything else, but you feel this sort of like as if nothingness had a mindset to it, that it was transformative and dark and chaotic, and it starts to bleed through your consciousness, making you feel as if you are actually starting to become almost poisoned. But at the same time, there's a certain level of delight involved with it.
So Ivar's drunk.
Well, Ivar, you're stuck with this entity, and it's basically going like, you're like the rest of us.
That's not something you want to hear.
Join.
Ooh.
Hello,
Barrick
little
joins
girl.
the technocracy. Ivar becomes an outsider.
That's how we become villains in the next campaign.
Little girl,
Those new
you
characters.
would like me to ride on merry-go-round with you?
Oh,
Why'd you make it dirty?
oh.
You hear this entity inside of your mind. It's like, I know you're trying to avoid me. You've felt this before. You've seen what we are. You've seen what we can be. You're already like us. Come and
Come
play.
and join Ivar.
Just repeat,
This would
come
be
and
very
play.
fun. Is Ivar tempted by this? Is there a way to find
Yes, he
out?
is.
If,
He is tempted by this for the pure point of fact that he lost the initial will battle to prevent this particular attack from coming through. Now it's a
and
matter.
so, yeah, go on. I was going to say, I wonder now. It's almost like the Aberthrall found a way through his hallucinations.
Yeah.
Is it Ivar's turn, or is he just trying to react to this?
You're trying to defend. Like, this wound up being sort of a side point because of the fact that, technically speaking,
Yeah, but
you're going to be drowned out. So, like, the next wave of attacks won't include you because you're going to be stuck in the middle of this mindscape trying to deal with this.
well, what I'm wondering is if it's almost in a sense that though Ivar is no longer driving, Ivar's still driving,
Well,
and he's somewhere else, but his abilities are. Do we want to play it in the sense that his abilities now are basically agents of chaos?
well, in this case, you haven't agreed or disagreed with anything else. Right now, you're in a battle of wills of an entirely different sort. Because this thing is trying to tempt you, right? It's gotten the first break into the wall, but now it has to get through the impulse. See, we're digging into Ivar's morality at this point, if he even has anything like that. You know, like, he's going to find himself in a position where he's seeing glints of what could be in all things pointed.
Well, because in his backstory, Ivar.
Fucking A.
Ivar's, that was his fall from grace, is his temptation with power and the temptation to manipulate and control. It backfired. He could never actually maintain control. And
Right.
so in this, he's it's like the comedian we once saw. I saw this comedian once whose joke was he was hired to watch a bunch of films and rate them, and they were all porn. And the first one was guy on girl. He was into it, and the second one was girl on girl, and he was really into it. And then it was guy on guy, and he wasn't into it. But then he got curious, and then he was ashamed of himself. And not long later, he was curious again. I feel like that's where Ivar is right now in this oscillation. So I'm interested to see how this plays out.
Well,
Now,
you
that's-
have fleeting images of what it would be like to become chaotic. Meaning that you would have sort of this strange control, but at the same time, all fate and chance would run their own way, and it would be this contradiction of sorts, where you would just start to, like, create a whole universe unto itself with literally your own bemusement. You can feel that sense of correlation between Averthral and what he's doing and what all the other outsiders are doing. You can sense that this is basically it. This incredible, potent, like, force of will that is just about finding change no matter how disruptive, and it is exalting. It is absolutely and utterly enchanting because it doesn't ever hold the same shape. It is never boring. And so it just becomes this game inside your mind, and it keeps saying, you know, come play with us, you know.
Yeah.
Just
So what is happening to Ivar on the outside? Because I almost see him like he's working with the group. He's talking on comms, and all of a sudden Ivar goes dark, and he's just standing in the middle of the battle.
What the fuck? Well,
It's corn time.
Ivar will figure that out as soon as he's done. At this point, you are locked into this, like I said, it's a battle of wills, which is very rare. You get to roll an extended will check, and we have to see who ends up bottoming out, because at this point, you know, it will be in part a roleplay element, but also the will check will determine whether or not you're able to resist that same temptation once again.
Got it. Am I at starting at 10 or am I down to 9?
Oh, you're gonna be at 10. We're starting it now because you kind of had. He did the initial breach. Now comes the hard part.
He's broken the hymen mind, ready to go for the cervix.
So all you guys see is Ivar has stopped, and he looks like he's in heaven. He is just got this great like you guys have never seen the ecstasy of joy on Ivar's face, but you clearly tell that if anyone's paying attention, Ivar's not there. -3.
Jesus. Jeez. So I guess we're losing Ivar. He's the final
-2.
boss.
Right.
-2. -3.
Oh my god.
-1. -1. -1. -1.
0.
0.
Can John see his distress and enhance?
What's that?
Can John see Ivar's distress and enhance his
And
roll?
Ivar
Yeah.
right now.
He's got no idea that you're even there, and if you turn around, this is happening very quickly, and if you try to enhance his rolls, you don't know what you'd be enhancing. You just know that he's
Yeah.
like,
Are you not spending luck?
Ivar's going to spend his last bit of luck to bump that 9 to give him 1 degree of success. And Ivar will be now out of luck. And so, how I kind of see this thing going on is Ivar is like, the ecstasy smile is now turning to that Joker ass grin of like, this is what I want. But somewhere in Ivar, there is some moral grounding that almost like grabs him and is trying to hold on. There is something in Ivar, and I'm going to argue this is probably his danger sense, is jumping in to try and save him.
Don't
And
do it.
I'm going to leave it up.
For the
I'm going to
dice.
leave it up to you, D. To Ivar has never done this badly on a will check.
well, you're lucky
normally-
because he ended up getting -1 on his attempt.
1 success and -1. Wow.
Yeah, so you actually succeeded, which I will get to the next point here, because that was a fucking breathtaker, let me tell you. Because Ivar being lost in this particular way could have been like the boop.
Reroll.
Ivar just turns on the whole group and just wipes everyone out, and it's like Dark Phoenix or something.
Barrick would have to shoot him in the head, and then
No one wants that.
All right. Then you see, so what happens at this particular point? What is that from?
That's from a scene in Dark Phoenix when she just starts wiping I think she kills Professor X and just wipes everybody out. Oh no,
Yeah.
this is where she kills Logan,
Mm-hmm.
and he comes back. He like remorphs himself back.
Right, I remember that now. That was a long time ago.
Ivar's more
was a really
like
bad
Scarlet
movie.
Witch anyway.
All right, so there is this nauseating feeling from everyone. I think, Colt, you haven't had a chance to barrel against any of this yet, right?
No. Which is why I spent luck to get 2 degrees of success.
Right. Which I need to actually check what his...
Well, that's right. You thought you were getting attacked too.
Well, in this case, he's expanding it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Colt thinks ahead. Because shit's bad. Shit's real bad. But I got this guy. Not sure. He's going
Alright.
to fix the economy. Anyway, go on.
Oh, jeez.
so
1 week.
Colt, the same kind of thing emerges in there. The only difference is this, is that you have John standing as the core personality in the center of this incredibly darkened room. There is this presence that is not supposed to be where it is, and you're in that mindscape on the outer edges where you just have like the slums, and you can feel that out there. But you have John, you have Mother standing right beside you, and she's got this clenched jaw, and you can see that she's pissed. and she is standing right next to where you're at. She's holding her hand up like this, and you can see this force that's trying to barrel through. And there are the three fates that are sitting on the opposite side.
Oh,
and
Jesus.
They're just kind of looking. They're basically staring at you. You have the maiden, the mother, the crone, the whole thing going on there with that. And they're just looking at you. And you have your mother going, so like, whatever you decide to do, you should try to do it now. We've already lost our outer defenses.
So, John, the personality John,
Mm-hmm.
looks at Mother and says, "Mother, do I have your full support?"
And she gives you this eye out of the corner, like she just looks at you from the corner of her eye. She's like, if we don't cooperate, this could be the end of us all. It attacks us like a plague.
So, the reason he says that is because it needs to be a collaboration between Mother and John
Right,
with respect to their arete.
right.
Oh, they're touching Arites now.
Well, in this case,
So-
she's just like, I will do what I must, same as you, but act now.
Okay, so sorry, I have to go to the personality sheet.
You
Mother's
gotta go,
Mother's arete is 4 plus John's is 7,
Mhm.
so that is arete of 11.
Right.
He has a SFR of 12.
Okay, so in this case, you're going to use a spell instead of using the will to push him out. You're going to end up casting some kind of magical extrication, so that it gets pushed out of your mind.
It's a magical extrication and attack at the same time.
Right.
It's the utilization of spirit and correspondence with forces, matter, and prime.
Okay.
It's complex, right?
Yes, it would be.
It's a trap.
Mm-hmm.
It's to coalesce the concept of the attack itself and to unleash it back at its target.
Okay. So you're just trying to create a mental feedback loop that causes it to break free and leave.
Well, and attack its target.
Right. It'll do damage when you do that.
Yeah.
That's the
So
idea.
that's the concept behind
you've
it.
You've got a 10 difficulty because you're championing this against the mind of the creature that's trying to invade you. So
Okay. So
That's
roll.
gonna be
you're going to be rolling a 11d10.
11d10. Target 10.
Mm-hmm.
Fail 1.
Explode 10.
Explode 10.
Ooh.
We're going to use. We're going to use my rating and luck, so we're down to 0.
Oh, wow.
Negate those 1s and pump up the 2 9s. 3 degrees of success.
Gotta
So
pump
you
those
had
numbers
1,
up.
2,
Those
3,
numbers.
4 luck left originally, and you're now down to 0, huh?
Yeah. So it's the mother said this was the last resort. So John is just going to basically cast out his arms like this.
Yep.
Just pull everything in
Sounds like a plan.
and unleash it.
All right. I mean, there is this incredible sense of pressure that you get. You and your mother are coordinating this attack. There is a fundamental level of outward expulsion of pain, if such a thing could exist. It goes rippling out from where your mother stands. You can see that the chains themselves actually loose from the arms, out of the flesh, from the radius, the ulna, in between. They're kind of like uncoiling and spiraling out towards this amorphous cloud that she was basically holding out from the point of penetration. And then you, of course, do another enforcing push, and then there's this collaborative scream that goes outside, like radiating in your whole mind, causing one hell of a migraine as this creature wriggles almost like it was physically present, and then it just disperses, popping out of existence. and you can see your mother visibly relax. She just does this, retracts the chains. She's like, "You have more work to do. Best you do it." You can feel yourself quite a bit drained after that, because that's like 11 more SFR right down the tubes.
Every time you say Forces Matter Prime, I get the Captain Planet thing in my head, so...
You pop back out. There is this sense of change that...
I'm sorry,
There's that sense of
Scott.
change.
Scott, the whiskey aspect kills me, though.
Well, I was trying to think of a fifth one.
It's
I
appropriate.
said whiskey.
So, when you come back to consciousness, you kind of snap back to look. You see Ivar standing there. He's got this wild grin on his face. His eyes are wide open. He's not looking at anything, right? You can see this incredible smoky type tendril stuff happening inside of his beard and out of the hair, and the rest of it starts to envelop the whole of his person. There's a sundering crack right below where he's standing, as like the two wills are in complete clash of each other. What happens is that you can feel the consciousness of Avathrol pulsating out from everywhere. Then something terrifying happens that everybody starts to notice. All of the Berserker orcs start to actually twitch, convulse. Some of them are spitting out, like, kind of like frothing at the mouth. And then they turn on their fellows. You see two of the AVs firing directly at each other and blasting out these drivers themselves apart. Most of the actual orcs, like a fair portion of them, are starting to fight one another, and there are groups of them now running from your back, trying to close in. You'll all be taking shots momentarily, but then you hear, Ivar snap out of it. Overcom's like, "What the fuck is happening?" Like, that's all you get from the inside of that. And then Ivar snaps out of it, and you can see that your militant forces, which were once backing you on up, are now starting to, like, turn their attention on everyone in the group. Every one of you is now in dire danger, because Avathrol managed to actually penetrate the mind of all the other lesser units that were out here.
Always fun.
Mm-hmm. You have a war on two sides now.
I guess
So-
I am glad that I'm incorporeal right now.
Riv
Now-
takes flight and disappears.
Now the general remains outside of considerations, correct?
Say again?
The general remains outside of the considerations of everything that's going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
He can communicate to everybody. Is that correct?
Yeah, he can overcome whatever you need to do.
Can he, in this time period, overcomes, exert his reality warp?
You probably could. The thing about that is that you'll have to enact it whenever it's on your turn at this point.
Okay.
But you can see that these things are starting to actually come at each other, like disabling the units, but they're all going to be... It's chaotic. So they're not all focused on you, thankfully. But because of the fact that they are pushing...
I love that.
I love
one
data.
Of my favorite ones. Oh,
It's-
shit.
Oh, I gotta roll for, I almost forgot. Yeah, oh no, that's right. You guys can make a combat sense awareness as well.
Which one?
It's combat sense.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I say combat sense awareness because that's literally what it was when I started playing this damn near 20 years ago. It's stuck
When I
in my
said it
head
last week,
sometimes.
Too, I put it in there for you.
D19, right?
D19! D19!
Ooh, 30. That's awesome.
Yep, that's the Colt's paranoia.
You saucy bitch.
I'm just making live memes now. I don't need to find the perfect GIF. I'll just make the perfect one.
You see Violet shivering for a minute because she's right next to where the general is. She turns for just a moment, and then there is this sudden influx of power. The suit that she had been wearing, it had like the hard metal across the breastplate, and the rest of it form-fitted to her body. But you can see it erupt in all kinds of like obsidian scales. She looks like she is having the time of her life, where she's like got her head rolled back, and you can hear this groan of pure ecstasy as she's just bringing her hands down like this, and that same obsidian covering the rest of her body. Then her hair goes into almost like pure crystalline like a color, and it's kind of like you would see when there's the bun and then you have the crossing chopsticks in back. Then she has like the high back of it, and she has this sort of darkened mist that is like flowing down out the back. Her eyes go completely obsidian.
Wow.
She ignores the general, hops down off of the AV where you guys had your higher ground point, and just lands as if she barely hopped down a single step, and starts moving towards the back crew. The other orcs that were like a part of her entourage initially crowd around her and start moving up. The bots start taking fire at her at this point, since they've realized that there's now a new threat, and they start to fire back. So it's gone completely batshit where she's at right now. Your central post of command has gone down to the floor. Things flipped. Christ. I can't believe it. For those of you who are interested, I rolled against the group of their wills at an 8, and he got 7 successes against them all.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. However, Ivar manages to snap out of it. You can see that sort of that sort of cowering darkness that was pushing around his person pops like a bubble, and he comes out of it. Because of the sheer shift, Ivar, what was your? Yeah, you're still gonna end up being last, but let's see.
Yeah, Ivar's last. Because remember, Ivar's just scared of the battle.
Yep. Okay, let's see here.
So all you knew is Ivar pops out of it, and now Ivar's looking around with that, like, oh, not good.
Nope. All right, Rev, you're up. What happened? Chaos. Literally.
Right. So, what's happening directly? I mean, you've described the battlefield pretty well now, but what's happening directly to me right now? Or, like, so in my 3 seconds...
They flood away from you. They've stopped trying to do anything to you, and then the onslaught of all of these clones start rushing out. What you do notice, though, with your roll on top of it, is that all of the... There are a few things. Anybody who wants to make a tactical roll can actually do that now as well. But the fallen angels and the demons, nothing seems to have happened to them despite the fact. They seem to be fully in touch with themselves somehow. I've got to roll a percentage here to see what they do.
24 tactics.
All right. You notice Sebastian, who was actually part of this entourage at this point. He's like, you see it from John's perspective, from the generals, both. You can see him just grinning ear to ear, but not because of Averthrall at all. You just hear him whisper from the generals, from his ear. You just hear him like, "She is magnificent." Absolutely in love with this woman, as she has become this particular form of whatever the hell might be happening next. But Sebastian is completely overtaken by her. However, he's not conquered by this entity. He doesn't even seem to have struggled. And then you have, from the general's perspective again, you have multiple, like, all of these other entities that are out there, the fallen angels and demons. They are also still working on your side, which means you have bare seconds, whenever it comes down to it, to start doing a counter strategy of some kind with these units.
Interesting.
All right. So, Riv, what are you up to?
So I'm completely alone. the forces have gone past me.
Actually, it's
and-
more like you're standing inside of a river of clones just flowing out towards your friends.
Oh, okay. I'm not alone. I'm just
Being ignored. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Like,
Hey, I can fuck with this. Okay. So, here's what I'm gonna do. I want to describe it, and I want to see if you can make it deify it.
Okay.
So, right now, because of my granite skin, I have a 6 body, or plus 6 body. So my
Yeah.
body's currently a 13, so I'm strong.
Yes.
So what I'd like to do is throw my gauntlet into the air, turning it into the iron golem.
Ooh.
I'm gonna leap up to it, and while it's transforming, I want to grab the gauntlet and just heave it down towards like a cannonball, basically.
meteor shot.
Yeah,
Alright.
that's what I'd like to do. The 2 things here, though, the golem is heavy, so it's not only am I trying to give it momentum, but I want to launch towards Averthral. So basically, I'm going to split it off from it. So does that make sense?
Yes.
Up, and then shooting back, kind of opposites.
All right.
And
So
then let my iron golem do its thing.
So you've lost. You're giving up your shield side or your?
No,
other
I'm
side?
giving up my intangible.
All right.
I'm still.
I'm
yeah,
talking
not
about
gonna
which
give
gauntlet are you tossing?
Up. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, defense or attack, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Defense. Those
All right.
should be my shield gauntlet.
So you're basically taking, like you've hucked the gauntlet up. You jump straight up into the air along with it. It contorts, twists, and becomes the golem. You know, slightly larger than your average human. The defensive one was a little larger, but you end up more or less coming up like this. The golem reaches its pinnacle point when it stops in midair before it does its downward descent, and you are emerging right then, just about that point. You come up, crunch up inside. He does the same thing, bracing his hands like this, and you go boop. You just do a double drop kick, causing you to go bam the other way. And because he has so much more weight than you do, because your weight is what's important, so you
That's
take
true.
the strength plus the force of the force of your push and your weight involved, and you go whee like this because he weighs quite significantly more. But your muscle is in this case causes him to jettison at a 45 towards the other direction, towards your friends here, and then crashing in amongst several of those units.
Yeah,
that's-
that was the whole point.
Yep. So in this case, I need you to roll an athletics to see if you can target yourself. Physics.
Is 23 good enough for it?
Yeah. So your golem, by the way, ends up doing this backward sort of dive motion whenever he finally gets that off, and he ends up doing a barrel, like just a roll in the midair, landing on his feet on the other side. You end up doing a twist, going the other way. All right. In this case, so yeah, you're on target, and you said you're going to come after Averthral, so you're going after the massive hunk where these clones are being produced. That's what you're trying to do anyway.
And if I can, I don't know if what I threw up was my stunt action, but as I'm flying, I want to do like the hero pose or the hero like fly, but shooting my gauntlet bolts at it. That's
Oh, yeah,
why
you
I
can
chose
still-
attack instead of defense.
This is all part of the same stunt. It's not broken into multiple stunts, it's all one stunt.
That's what she is. She's just a stunt. Okay, so scroll up here. 16. Okay. Or 1D. Oh, I'm doing it 3, of course. Cool. That's my 3 shots
Nice.
as I'm flying towards the mass.
Yep, you hear more bolts hissing forward. They end up striking the entity firmly. You end up landing a short distance in front or near it, where the flood is coming out. Now, of course, you're going to be leaning forward. You're no longer intangible, but you still have that incredible, like, you're still considered to be
diamond skin.
invulnerable. Yeah. So you've got like these things as they're rushing out. They're just bashing off the side as if you were like this massive concrete post, because you're not really.
Can I do one other thing? I want to use my melee master, so
Yeah.
I can't use my magic skill again. But when I land, I want to smash one in the face, just like using my
All right.
momentum to keep running.
That's totally doable. You just have to make the attack for it.
In this case, I actually am using my melee skill,
Mm-hmm.
and I got jujitsu. Nah, I'm just doing raw smash.
Yep.
I'll do.
Oh, fucking A. Jesus. Yeah, you smash into one on your landing, causing it to explode outward like a bug on a windshield, and then you just keep moving.
Perfect. That's a good 3 seconds on my clock.
Yep. There's a rigorous thud. Hold on.
Title
Wow.
of your sex tape.
What?
Title of your sex tape. Vigorous thud.
Yikes.
Okay, so what happens shortly thereafter? So, Barrick, you're just kind of like looking around, realizing some shit just went down after you've made some deflections, and you're kind of seeing this whole thing go out. You're pretty certain that even with your own gun kata, that it's going to be impossible to avoid all this fire in the open field, given the fact that you guys are pinched in. You start to see these fallen angels and demons who could actually fly. Some other ones are leaping in. They're trying to create a mishmash phalanx between this group and the rest. They're actually landing in, somehow or another, coordinating themselves to try and block that fire out. So there's it's just running tactics for you. And while you're watching this happen, you've got Colt moving back the other way. It's actually Colt's turn, so run at it, but I wanted to make sure that Scott was aware of the actual combat situation.
I got a 19 on my tactics roll, so
Mm-hmm. And we'll get to that when you show it up.
that is what he's noticing.
Yep.
Notice that Riv didn't do a tactics roll. She already had what she was doing.
She did a double jump like a true Samus. Jumped in the
Yeah.
air, jumped again.
Except I left a buddy behind for you guys.
Yeah,
Well,
it was like rushing to your forward front as you guys are trying to like crunch in and not be killed.
I can't hear you, Bill.
Yeah, I
Bill.
can't hear you. Just flip it back up.
So the general's evaluating this because of his tactic roll, right?
Mhm. Yes.
And he just bellows out, Ivor! Let the men hear my words.
And Ivar is just kind of there looking around him, going, General, are you able to hold a moment for Ivar to get things ready, or do you need this now?
Son, I need this now, because we are faltering before the enemy, and if we fail today, we will fail forevermore.
What can Ivar do for you, General?
Let them hear my words and feel them. Let them feel the vigor that boils through my veins, and the fire that boils within me, and the vengeance that we will unleash upon the enemy.
Executing.
Ivar is going
Go ahead.
to attempt to amplify the words of the General. To, in a sense, I take it, Bill, to have the General rein in through sheer will the army and get order back in the ranks.
Word
Is that-
bullets.
Your what?
My word bullets.
Word
Word
bullets.
bullets.
All you'll have to do, Ivar, is create a field of vibration that would emulate his voice, and if it's within the same containment area as your field of effect, you can literally make it so loud even the gunfire will cut out. Because you could just cause the
So-
air to vibrate with that sound.
But not, I think it's not only make it loud, but make it so that the will of the General's words will overcome the will of Aberthrall. Is that what you, in a sense, want, Bill?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice.
What's my target?
Target to amplify is 7. What
And-
exactly is
but
it that you're
not
gonna
only
be-
th-
Huh?
Not only are we amplifying his words, but we're trying to make his words break the will of Abrathal's control over the men.
Well, whatever it is that he's trying to do, that's entirely up to the general. You can do his boost. You're just going to boost it. We're going to see where it goes.
Boosted. You're all boosted animals.
Target 7, you said?
I did.
You have 4 degrees, General.
Fuck. All right. Well,
Okay.
there you go.
So Ivar is just standing there, and he hears this, and then he just...
So, you know,
I'm not sure what he does, but I see the air starting to shift.
you got the orcs on comp, right? So he's going to employ his reality warp through that to change the reality that these orcs are perceiving
Okay.
to the no, you're good soldiers. You know the enemy you need to kill. Principle. I got a speech in mind, so hold off on that. So the general's reality warp is, sorry, spreadsheet. Yeah. Yeah. So he's going to go 3 Arete,
Jesus.
but John's going to boost him. So John's going to boost him with target 7.
Okay.
So it's 3 D10 explode 10 target with 7 fail 1. So that's another 2 degrees of success for the general. And the general is going to use his 3 basically for reality warp.
Mm-hmm.
What's his reality warp have to be?
It's all 10 because you're competing against the intellect.
Okay, so 5 degrees of success plus of whatever the general gets, correct?
Right. He's amplifying it so that they can all hear you. Your effect on this case is traveling on that same wind. So,
Okay.
is it getting to everybody? Yes. Is it going to affect everyone or push the sound out? We don't know. That's the spell working in and of itself. The spell is
Okay.
going to be a target 10, but you're able to get to everyone all at once with a shock factor involved, given the fact it's so loud.
So 3d10, explode 10, target 10, fail
Yeah.
fail 1.
Correct.
Fuck me. Fuck.
So close.
Yeah,
but
but
you
it's not
already
a
did
it's
it.
not
You
a
got-
botch. It is not a
You
botch.
got one result already.
So that first one there with the 2,
Yeah, that's really just a 1, right? Isn't that a target? Isn't that just the miss roll with a target 7 instead of a target 10?
that first one set there, Bill. That first 3d10 that you rolled. What was that again? The 7.
Yeah,
did you-
7
or-
7.
What was
So
What was the target?
Because the
You
target
have it
against
as target 7.
right.
Oh,
so
the
he's-
target. Oh, so it's
No, so like the effect of reality warp is going to be at target 10 because you're trying to affect the mind of Averthrall himself. What
Yeah,
I'm asking
that's-
about is that 2 successes, that other roll above it, that's got like 10, 9, 6 in it. What was that for? I think I missed it.
that was John boosting like Ivar.
Oh, okay. So like amplifying further?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all amplification. The actual reality warp is a 0. So in this case,
But I still have one more melee
Yep.
turn,
yes you can.
so I can pump out another. Fuck, I'm like, okay, I'm at 0 SFR now. I've never been
You're
there.
just gonna check the batteries on your megaphone.
Right.
Does that weird
shit.
squeaking sound?
3d10, target 10, explode 10, fail 1.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that'd be funny if it got like a recursive algorithm, so it just blew up for like
Right.
100. Oh,
Jesus.
he
You have
keeps
luck.
trying.
1 point of luck to bump that 9 up to a 10.
He's
He
out of
used
luck,
all
I
his
think.
luck, remember?
I have no luck.
Oh, I thought Ivar used all his luck.
My luck's all gone.
Yep.
I'm the only one with luck left, and maybe you, Scott.
I have 5 luck.
I've got 7. I'm very
You
surgical.
very. Yeah.
You want to share?
I wish.
Eric's like, I'll give you some luck bullets.
Through the skull.
Oh my god. Well,
And
at
I
this
had-
point,
and I had this brilliant speech. This wonderful
Aw.
one.
You could
Yeah, it's
give
great.
it. It's just gonna be with megaphone squeaks and stuff, so people you'll be giving it, but like nobody. It'll just say like inaudible screeching.
well, you've got the general up there who's actually talking, trying to break through the hold of Aberthrall, and it doesn't seem to be working. However, Barrick, you're now up, and the thing about that is that what you realize tactically is that if you, which you know you can communicate with these other fallen angels and demons, if you can get them to coordinate out in front and like create a protective shell around Ivar in particular, because right now one of the bots is going to be blown out from where he was standing, and Ivar is going to be like trying to like navigate this whole thing, like waddle, 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 like trying to get to where the group is to some relative safety. But you can probably throw out some kind of a command. You've got Dravis, who's basically managing the front part of your front. I'm sorry, the forward front is where he's actually out. He's just laying loose with his rune lock, just taking shots as best he can, trying to push you guys into a like more cohesive like strike unit. But yeah, so if you try reaching out to them, you might be able to get them to kind of reinforce your current battle lines, even though you're like surrounded.
So, Barrick heard the speech.
Mhm.
He was inspired.
Okay, would you like the speech?
Of course.
I think that's
Okay.
what he was going for.
Yeah,
Do y'all want the speech?
go for
Yeah,
it.
hit us
It's
with
the
it.
roleplay element, man.
I'm making an authority roll, so I'm gonna hear the speech and then authority
Yep.
roll. with
So this
authority.
is what Barrick hears, because everybody said fuck all. I hear that your faith has been weakened before the enemy. But I say stand! Stand before this, for united you will be conquerors upon the enemy. I want you to be ruinous upon the target before you. Listen not to the words that betray you, but I want you to look within your hearts and see the truth. The barracks bullets will see you through. Sorry, that side note.
Oh my god.
Eric's charging up his shield.
Oh my god.
Summoning the ancestors in Barrick's line to create a shield around him. He's going to charge and try and join the fray and use his authority, his authorita,
Alright.
to draw the rally to me sort of situation.
Yep.
So I got a 17, so a 20 on my authority.
Yeah, that's not bad, man. You're like, on me! On me! Like that,
Here,
just
I'll-
like waving it
I'll
out.
spend 2 luck,
Yep.
and I'll.
Wow.
I'll take it.
Jesus.
I'll bump that roll up to a 37 with my 2 luck.
Alright, so you're shouting out, you're like, on me! On me! Like that. There is a collection of these winged forces. You actually still see some of them that are on ground, which is why you guys weren't completely swarmed. It would look like like fallen angels had been like ascribing themselves and cutting down enemy foes wherever they could in the midst from down the line and against the opposite flank. And then you have these demons aiming for redemption, but they're all from the planes of war and wrath, and they come barreling through. And like I said,
so this blue nimbus comes around me, this glow, as I activate my shield.
Nice.
And just run, inspired by the general speech, charging up my shield, as that gift shows, while saluting. Nimbus glow, and I charge and rally, create the rally. If I had a banner, I would be like...
This is probably the most crazy alive Barrack has ever felt, because this is some shit.
Yes. The fervor.
Yeah. Alright, so you've got them rallying up, but it is also your attack. So while you are rallying these troops up and trying to get everything together, you've got Dravis backing up and pushing people, into those lines. Now you guys are kind of creating this area where you can't, where you can't be easily reached, but you've got breakpoints.
Can I run and gun, or do I need to melee?
You can run and gun.
Alright. I'm just gonna handgun, because it just takes one hand.
Yep.
And I've got the shield, So, let me see. There we go. Just had to find the right one. Alright, so I am going to be like running, this rally point, and with my handgun, just, shot at targets of opportunity that are getting in the way.
Yep.
Handgun 7. Checking my rate of fire again. Alright. So I'm gonna do 6 shots, then 6 shots.
Oh my god.
Dude, fuck.
His gun caught him, man. He pushes the fucking limits.
So that's the first 6, and then... second 6.
Yeah,
the gun just needs to jam twice, right?
Oh my god. Yeah, you managed to lay out a large number of shots, and they all hit their targets, save for the ones that actually go wildly astray while you're taking these shots.
The one is my reload. It's reload.
Yep. Basically, you just miscounted, so...
Yeah.
But I mean, like, you're just running and firing out, and like I said, just hitting it out. It is utter chaos, guys. You have bots fighting orcs. You have a slow-moving Violet who is not sure what her plan is yet, given the fact that she seems to be overtaken entirely. You have Averthrall on 2 fronts, crushing everybody inward. You have all of the aerial units that are flying over the top, trying to keep you out of it. You even see from the far end side, like where the general is standing, you've got Richard Tynes trying to make these low-rolling, like, dips. And there seems to be this large, almost Mercury kind of, like, spider running amongst the crowds of, like, the various units of Averthrall themselves as he's kind of pushing back towards everyone. But it's nuts. And you've got crossfire happening everywhere. Because where the bots are standing, they're firing into it. You've got the orcs firing back. It's freaking nuts. And then you guys seem to be shielded out now. When it comes down to Ivar, who's up next, you're just like, like that, trying to get to a point where you can finally collect everything. There's this thump, a large 7.5-foot tall demon. He's got like an indent right about here with like these 2 spines that come out. You saw him earlier. Got really strong features, and he's got that sort of like classic reddish skin. You can tell he's like super tough, and he's got yellow eyes. And he's sort of like, hey, little man, like that. He's got the sword in his left hand. Like, let's move a little faster. Grabs you by the back of your robe and just does whoop, and you go darting into the rest of the group.
I love it.
Thank you, little demon man. This was very kind of you.
And he's like, Lil, I'm Asmo. Magic this up like that, and he just turns around and like bashes one of the enemies down that's trying to get into the group.
Well, while Ivar's looking around and he's getting a sense of the danger we're in, a little bit of a tactics roll from Ivar. With a 15, what he's looking to see is, and I'm going to mix it in here with his occult as well. Does Ivar have the ability with a 28 occult, 15 tactics, to throw up a psychic shield to almost block Aberthrall, or is the damage already done?
You can stop him from achieving any more damage against you lot within your 200-foot range, but nothing outside of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Ivar, once he's dropped in, he's like, we have to get him out of our fucking minds. and at that
Activate
moment,
the true faith.
no, he wouldn't. That would hurt our own forces.
That's true.
What Ivar does, he just starts rubbing his temples almost like he's thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like Popeye, he reaches out into nothingness and pulls out a bottle of vodka and drinks. And he's gonna bring forth his psychic dampener, which is the psychic bubble that nothing from the outside can penetrate through. It almost shields us from the outsiders. But as he's doing it, he's like, Bob, I hear you're my uncle. Is there any way you can help me out creating a psychic dampener to keep Aberthrall out of the troops' minds?
Who's he talking to?
I'm talking to Bob.
Oh. Well, actually, what's
Holy
funny is
Bob.
that you have... All you have is, like, in the end says, like, I will try. Because you can hear a strain in his voice as he's trying to manage this. And literally, it is, again, top of the hour.
Do.
Do you want me to roll to see how it finishes to get
To
that
see if
roll
he can...
off?
Well, yeah, let's roll to see what you do in terms of the psionic dampening.
And
Bum, bum, bum.
target 7.
Well, that went to shit quick.
I should have done so
Shit.
much worse, though.
It's
Hey.
1 degree of success.
That works. Woo! Yeah, so the party's definitely in actual real danger this time around.
Sure feels like it.
How far, how far does the psychic shield go out?
It can extend as far out as your range, so up to 200 feet out.
So this is a 200-foot range shield that is going to keep Aberthrall out of our troops.
Yeah, it's 200-foot radius, 400 foot in diameter, so you can imagine that covers quite a bit of surface area.
That was awesome. It's nice to actually feel some peril. I mean, Riva always feels peril, but, like, she gets out of it with luck, but it actually feels like we're in danger right now.
Yeah, this is
that was
luck. Huh?
That was a beautiful turn. By the way, tonight's chapter was titled "We're Done."
I
Yeah.
have 3 luck left.
I have 7.
Yeah. I have to
Ivar
say,
was out of luck.
this is an achievement. We've got 2 characters that are completely out of luck. We have Bill's character out of SFR.
We went from
it's become an
victory
endurance
in
race.
hands.
Bixby's gonna
Yeah,
need to
we had-
eat.
We had victory in our hands, and
Maybe.
it's been drawn through our grasp by Aberthrall's excellent roll to turn our entire army against us.
Yep. It was one of
That's
those things.
domination.
Yep.
This is why you don't inspire your DM to Super Brawls. No. This is our fault. This is on us. We're responsible.
I'm actually vaguely reminded of that whole thing when you guys were leaving the when you had saved Michael, and pulled him out of the angelic Guantanamo Bay.
Mhm.
Except this time we're actually continuing to fight.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of...
How much damage did we do to Aberthal this round?
Oh, Christ. Well, to his clones and the rest of it, like, see, this is the crazy part, is that you have to find wherever his center of powers are, and Void had managed to point you in the direction of where one of them was, and you did a lot. Like, those 4 rockets did a catastrophic amount of damage, but he's still pushing, which means you have to relocate it. So, not a lot, but to the clones and everything else that he's got pushing out, you've done massive levels of damage. We're probably pushing upwards of almost like another 2,000 all by itself, just with fire, magical abilities. There's actually been some damage done by freaking Colt whenever he pushed him out of his mind using magic to do that, because that works anywhere. Mindscape, reality, it doesn't make a difference. It is the same thing. So he did do damage on that one.
Okay. So we've done all total about 4k damage to Aberthal.
I got to use my blunderbuster.
Quite cinematically, I might add. It was perfect. I loved it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So if I have this correctly, our group is now sitting in the center of what was once our army, and our army now has flanked us on all sides, turned on us.
You've got like the L-shaped wave of Aberthal's forces kind of closing in. You have your rear guard, which is now being pressed by Orcs and Violet at this point, going up and over. The general didn't engage, which is actually a smart move, because she just walked past and ignored him at this point. Because it's one of those things where it's like we don't know exactly what has happened to her, what sort of gifts she's acquired by this sudden transformation. So you have your forward front, your right flank being attacked, you have your rear front being attacked, and you have the left side starting to swell shut from both sides, and they're going to try and push in. Meanwhile, you guys are clustered together with this everlasting group of fallen angels and demons on the path to redemption, landing in and around, trying to create a phalanx using various demonic and angelic abilities that are all sort of like fizzling together to stop and prevent. So you guys are like okay-ish, but you're sort of you're basically in this bubble right now, and who knows how long these forces will last or if they ever get a hole punched through. But you're having to deal with the fact that right now you have this circular phalanx around your group, trying to maintain you guys so that you don't get killed immediately. And so you're literally right in between two fucking armies on all fronts.
I feel like we're before the Black Gates right now. At the end of Lord of the Rings.
Kind of like that in a sense, yeah.
I'm the bubble hearth.
Okay, well that was amazing, and I got to get this room prepared for my in-laws. So,
Have fun.
Yep.
All right, man. Later
Take
on.
care.
Not at all.
Appreciate
Great session.
Yep, great session. And to those who have watched,